Lights up.
It is better not to ask how this has come about. Jane Austen, facing an audience from... What century is this?
21st.
Really? Dear me. And the year, if you please.
2021.
2021? I see. I blame the writer. Writers, it will not surprise you to know, have such extravagant imaginations. If you will be guided by me, you will not pose too many questions about all of this. I certainly shall not. As a writer myself, I understand the creative mind, but I have never before been the victim of one. You lived in such a remarkable age. So many of life's difficulties have been addressed by your science. This is a remarkable instrument, exceptional. Thanks to the writer, I have a small knowledge of how it functions, which I suspect is true for most of you here. Just as your science has given you the mobile telephone, so it has also provided this. Of all the things I have seen in this world, I reserve most praise for this. It has a value far beyond any ascribed to it by commerce, far beyond mere money, particularly in a society where pure, crisp and dry hint of apple is unheard of, especially where gentlemen are concerned. This little device would be capable of contributing so much to polite society, and even more to impolite society, if I may use that term. In polite society, ladies are required to be able to inhabit this world without perspiration. I have found that hot weather keeps one in a continual state of inelegance, whereas the male, he does not apply the same requirement on himself. Men perspire with impunity, here, there, and everywhere. How much more attractive would all men be with the use of this device? 10-fold, 100-fold, 10,000. Perspiration. Perhaps I have found use in my writing for perspiration as a theme, even as a possible title. Perspiration by Jane Austen. And consider how might such a theme have affected the unfolding of the stories I have told. Chapter 1. It is a truth, universally acknowledged, that a single man in possession of pure, crisp and dry hint of apple is most definitely in pursuit of a wife. May I also show you the tea bag? The tea bag is an item one would have expected science to invent during a much earlier age. Tea being so expensive and waste of it so profligate, to have an exact spoonful measured with such precision is a boon to all those with responsibility for the household budget. There is room for improvement. The tea bag is the devil's own work to open. Oh, such a waste. I see you all communicate in pictures of words using these small windows. I do not think it would have been enough space to contain all my news to Cassandra. But in these little windows there is yet another benefit to thrift. No need for paper. I have discovered the emoji, A cunning device which avoids the need to communicate in words all those tiresome emotions that one is so often burdened with in life. Happy face. Oh, sad face. Angry face. In my times, it would only have been possible to create an emoji by painting it on a pumpkin and delivering it in person. Here is one I prepared earlier. Of course, it would not be practical for us to carry the required range of pumpkin emojis with us. Perhaps each household could provide pumpkin emojis for their guests to use in conversation. I jest.
Hello.
This device, as I'm sure you all know, provides access to the internet and everything that is revealed in that place. My own name resulted in many hits. Hits, yes. 63,700,000. I only wrote 6 books. All of these hits were received in less than 1 second. How is that achieved? No, do not tell me. I'm sure the knowledge would overwhelm my senses. I find myself very popular, and there are many Jane Austen societies worldwide. The members of these societies are called Janeites. Janeites. My novels are even celebrated in America, which I am surprised to learn has thrived since turning its back on the British Empire, without which it would never have existed in the first place. It is currently led by a Mr. Trump, President Trump. It appears they have turned their backs on all forms of monarchy. A very bad show indeed. While perusing some of these hits, I came across a page, as I believe it is called, a very particular page about myself. It concerns the views of a renowned female historian. Yes, female! What great strides have women made. Whilst I applaud the promotion of womankind to such positions, I was shocked by the thesis espoused by this particular woman in regard to my, how shall I put this, my disposition towards other women. I hesitate to name such a deviation of nature. Lucy Worsley is her name. She bases her conclusion on the fact that I never married and was very close to my dear sister Cassandra, who also never married. How does one go about having such a page torn from the internet? Is this possible? Does anybody know? No? Well, if I cannot have the offending page removed, then I must vigorously oppose her contention. This Worsley woman fails to take into account the fact that both Cassandra and I found love of the distinctly non-deviant sort, which was reciprocated to the fullest extent, although never stepping beyond the bounds of modesty. The object of my great love was Tom Lefroy, recently arriving here from Ireland to stay with his aunt and study the law at Lincoln's Inn. We met at one of the many balls in the county, which is where most affairs of the heart begin. I'm sure that is true for all of you, even today. I was only 21 years of age. Our father was rector of Dean and Steventon in Hampshire, and he also had a boarding school at the rectory, preparing a small select group of young men for university entrance. Combined with our 6 brothers, this made our home an exciting, exhilarating place for 2 girls to grow up. We were able to join in their games, share in the cake sent by their mothers, and missed their boisterousness when they were at their holidays. Many strong friendships were made. It was one of these boarders, Thomas Fowle, who Cassandra grew close to and finally grew to love. A love that was shared, such that both families agreed to the match, dependent upon the day when Thomas could support a wife and the children they planned. We did laugh so about the forenames of our loves, Tom and Thomas. However, we were both robbed of our loves. Cassandra's husband-to-be was taken by the yellow fever while seeking his fortune in the Caribbean. I lost my Tom when I was found to be unsuitable for the match. Of course, it was not put so plainly. Apologies were made for the rash promises given by such a foolish young man, so inexperienced in the ways of the world, so overwhelmed by his first foray into polite society. It was said that I was in no way at fault. The fault was all Tom's. The aunt who delivered this apology was in her way a dreaded disease, as vile as any fever. In her polite demolition of my happiness, I could see all my deficiencies listed, and I found myself shrinking in stature to a degree that would enable me to walk directly into the pages of Mr. Swift's Gulliver's Travels. Just as a person cannot overcome the yellow fever, so I could not overcome my family's genteel poverty and my lack of a fortune to bring to a marriage. That and the Austen family's perceived lack of social status, you would think there was absolutely nothing between us and the gutter. There was no mention of the love we shared, marriage, of course, being considered no more than a social contract. We sisters were both thwarted in love, and both suffered this unbearable disappointment within a 12-month, although Cassandra's cross was so much harder to bear. It was natural that in our sadness we sought sympathy and understanding in each other's arms, and were ready each to wipe away the other's tears. We moved from young lovers robbed of our beaux to favourite aunts, and then in later years to maiden aunts. We loved each other, yes, but it was the purest sisterly love. I have no idea how far one needs to travel along a path of deviancy before one qualifies as a fully fledged deviant person. In Mrs. Worsby's mind, I suspect not very far at all. If I did love again, it was not love of a man. It was a love that no circumstance of poverty nor lack of social connections could prevent from flourishing. It was my love of literature, and above all else, writing. The offspring from this union were my manuscripts, 6 novels that I nurtured from childhood to maturity, as a good mother should. It was 16 years before the first of my children was ready to venture into the world, to be known as Sense and Sensibility. And upon seeing the love my firstborn received, the others were quick to follow into a world happy to share them. Perhaps the intercession of my Tom's aunt became a blessing, for I cannot imagine being the mother of a happier band of children than I have in my novels.